Hello, good day viewers. Today, my demonstration is about actually going over some of the files that I consider to be the most important on the Linux operating system. Definitely this list is not exhaustive, but these are like the files that I think are extremely important. And for you as maybe a system engineer or system administrator, even developer, should be familiar or at least have a knowledge of. So quickly, let's go over these files. So the first one that I think is actually very important is the slash boot slash VM Linux, and that is actually the uh, that represents the Linux, operate the Linux kernel itself. So if I run file on the Linux kernel that I have here, you see it tells me this file is the Linux kernel x86 boot executable bz image. So that is actually the brain, the soul of the Linux operating system itself. So you should be familiar with this file. You'll find it in slash boot. Okay, let's move on. The second one is the slash etc slash password. So let me do a cat on slash etc slash password. This file contains information about the users that are on the system, and this file contains both the regular users and both the this maybe the service user or system users. So regular users like maybe the root user or some other user, and system users like for example uh, a good example is the SSHD daemon, the SSHD. You see the SSHD, you see things like DNS mask. Each of these things have a user on the in the etc password, because every process on the Linux operating system must be associated with a particular user. So it's a extremely important file you should know about. Another counterpart to that is the group. This contains information about group rather than the user. So the groups on the system. So another file also important is the etc sudoers. So the sudoer file contains information about the users that are allowed to run a privileged task. For example, look at root. Root has the power to run all commands. So if you want to give some administrative privilege to a particular user, you can put them in this file. But I will tell you, you should not edit this file with your hand. I think it's better to edit it with there's a utility called vsudo. You should use the vsudo to edit this file, because I will do now this file. If you make a mistake in this file, you might not be able to log into your system. Actually, this very file, you might actually these two, the password file and the sudo file. If you have an error in those files, you might not be able to log into your system easily. So the next file I will talk about is the SC profile file. The SC profile file contains information about let me do a cut on it. It contains information about environment variables or some functions that you want to run when the system start up, and this file applies system wide. It applies system wide. By system wide I mean it applies to all users of that particular server. So that is the etc profile. So, and actually it is recommended, if you want to create an addition, to create your own addition in the etc profile.d. You can, if you have a particular variable that you want to set, an alias that you want to set, you should put them in this directory. So another one is the etc bash rc. Since the bash shell is it's like the most popular shell, so there's a particular file bash rc, with which you can, I don't have it on Ubuntu actually. So I am on Ubuntu. Let me go to CentOS. So let me cat bash rc, cat on bash rc. So that's so you see I have it on CentOS. I don't have it on Ubuntu. That's some of the slight difference in the distros, so that you have to keep in mind. So if you need to customize your bash but the bash rc is system wide, so you have to keep in mind it's going to apply to all users. But if you want to do a customization for a particular user, you have to put the bash rc in the home directory of the user. So if I do cat on this, so you see in the home directory of that particular user, you have things like alias. You can set some environment variables, you can run some minor commands. So let's go ahead. So the next file I think is important, although this file is going to is going to extinction on the most recent versions of the operating system. So like I don't even have it on Ubuntu, but let me go to Fedora. If I do an ls, okay, I have it on, sorry, this is CentOS. I have two systems, one is Ubuntu, one is CentOS. Let me cat on the CentOS. So this file is being replaced mostly by systemd. So yeah, it used to contain things like the run level. The run level, or that run level, is like the condition that your system will be in, by default when it boots up. But run level is being replaced by systemd targets. So this file might not be very important anymore. Another directory or file is the init.d. Init.d contains init files. So that is, for example, because not all services are using the systemd. So for example, the network service still contains still keeps the startup file, the init file, in the init.d directory. So you should be familiar with that. Let me check this on Ubuntu. Yeah, we have it on Ubuntu also. So it contains startup file, startup scripts. So that is that. So another one is the etc systemd system. So the etc systemd system, is like the newer way of doing things. So for example, if you want to create a unit file, you put it in this directory. So for example, the default target replaces the run level. So for example, the default target for the system is a multi-user. Actually, it's a graphical, the graphical target. So yeah, okay, that's multi-user. Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, on this system it is multi-user, right? So the target system has replaced the run level. So you should be familiar with that now. So another file is varlog messages. Varlog messages, contains log. There's a lot of log. Let me just stop it. Yeah, there's a log, but there's a lot of information there. If you are troubleshooting your system, you should check out the log messages in this file. It can save you a lot of headache. So another file is the varlog the message. So let's check that out. Or varlog on the message. So the message is like the, when if you run the message, it contains information about your system when it's booting up. That is especially information about your hardware. So if you have a problem with hardware, you might want to check out that file. Okay, it is not available on Ubuntu, but if I run the message, let me see if the message, okay, the message is available, but that file is not available. So, but it is good for checking out what happens on your system during boots. Another very extremely important file, like these are like some of the top 10. I think this should belong to like one of the top 5 files important on the Linux system is the fstab. The fstab contains information about your mounting of your disks. So when the system boots, it's going to look at this file and mount the file system that is in this file. So it's a very important file. So another file, so this is a block file, actually not an ordinary file. This is a block file. So if I run file on this, it's a block special file. So this is DevSDA is the first disk on your system, and it is the disk that contains the master boot record. So basically it is very important when your system boots. It's going to look on this disk to determine how to boot the system. So but on this system is a virtual machine, so I'm not going to find DevSDA on this machine, but I'm going to find DevVDA. So on the virtual machine it is called DevVDA, on physical machine it's DevSDA. So on older system you can see DevHDA. So let's move on. I don't want this video to be too long. The next one that I will check out is the SCHost. SCHost contains information about DNS entry. So if you don't have a DNS server, you can put your DNS entry in this file. So resolve.conf, the resolve.conf also deals with DNS, but it contains your DNS servers. So basically name server. So it contains DNS server. So it can also contain some other information, but mostly DNS server. Another file is the etc hostname. So etc hostname contains the hostname, basically the hostname of your machine. So that is what it contains. Another file is contained in, so this file on CentOS you find something like etc/sysconfig/network scripts /ifcfg. So this is the configuration, the network configuration of your network interface card. So ETA0 is the first interface. So at times ETA0 might not be the name on your system, it might be different, but generally this is what CentOS uses. Ubuntu uses something different. The file is in network interfaces. So Ubuntu uses network interfaces. So that is why I have two of them here. So another file, very important also, is the NSSwitch. The NSSwitch file, determines the order in which certain operations are done. For example, especially DNS resolution. So this file is the one that determines, how DNS resolution should go. For example, maybe check the file or check DNS, things like that. It is not only DNS, also the username, the group, how to determine, uh, the order in which the procedure should be done. So another important one is the proc CPU info. Proc CPU info give you information about your CPU. For example, if you want to determine if your CPU supports virtualization, or you have to check this file and maybe some other information about how many CPU cores you have and things like that. Yeah, so another file is the cron tab. Cron tab is for doing cron job. So cron job is how you run processes periodically on your system. So another file is the file that deals with SSH. So I included files that relate to SSH because these days, especially in the cloud environment, you need to connect to your servers on maybe AWS or Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud, wherever. Mostly you are going to connect through SSH. So it's important for you to know about SSH in this age of cloud computing. So that is why this becomes important. So that file this with SSH connection. Another file you may want to check out also is the hidden folder. This is the hidden directory on your the machine. So let me check so you see, this file is actually very important, the authorized key file. So authorized key file contains the public key of the of users that are allowed to log in. So SSH config that deals with the client, I don't think that's that important, but it is important. But yeah, so another one is etc hosts.allow and host.deny. This file is used by TCPD wrapper. So there are some processes that use the TCP wrapper. So to determine, is for security. If you want to deny access, you can use this file. So to deny or grant access. So some of the other files that I have here are devnull. So devnull is although it's an important file because if you are writing a particular program or script and you need to send out your log to, you don't want to see the log, you want to send it out to a bottomless pit, so to say. So for example, if I do echo and do go away, so this message I'm not going to see it because it is sent out here, which is basically like a bottomless pit. So another file here, the last two that I have here is dev viewed random and dev random. These two files, even though you won't see them, you may not be interacting with them every day, but they are very important for generating random number, especially for generating SSH keys, for generating anything that deals with cryptography, generating random number. These files are extremely important. So I think that's all I have. So if you think there's some file that is even more important, you can put it in the comment section, and so that we just check it out and other people will be able to learn from it. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think, and See you in some other videos. Bye.